Good Monday afternoon, Southwest Arkansas. Welcome back to Southwest Arkansas weather on March the 10th. Recording this as of 4 p.m. here on this Monday afternoon. A nice sunny day. Temperatures in the upper 60s, lower 70s currently. But in today's little breakdown video that we're going to be doing, we're not going to be talking about today's forecast or the 6-day forecast. That forecast will be coming out later this evening. But today we're going to focus on the severe weather chances for Wednesday, March the 12th, and Friday, March the 14th. Those are some days that we're watching this upcoming time frame, and we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that at this current time. So let's start off with Wednesday. We're going to talk about the severe weather chances for Wednesday here. As you see, we have a marginal risk, a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, that dark green color for all of Southwest Arkansas at this current time. Let's talk about the data behind this. We're going to show you 3 different models, and in these models, we're going to take a look at the HRRR, or not the HRRR, the GFS, the European model, and the North American model for Wednesday. And what we're going to start off with is the European model first. This was the 12Z run that ran this morning. What you're looking at is the 500 millibar level hot winds. So these are the winds about in the middle upper atmosphere, and this is really a lot of times what we see are big severe weather, or our big weather events that we get, or just in terms, this is what one of the many factors that drives our weather pattern. So as you see here, while we had those rain chances yesterday on Sunday and Saturday, see this low pressure system here over the Alabama, Mississippi area as of this morning, that was over us earlier, and that allowed for us to get some rain. But now you see this ridge-like pattern where these lines go up here and come back down towards this low pressure system. You have a ridge that has moved over us, and that's allowed for sunny, dry conditions today and into tomorrow. But look back off over here off the coast of California. Here is what we're watching for this upcoming time frame. This is as we get closer towards Tuesday and into the Wednesday time frame. We're going to be watching, and as you see here, as we go into late Wednesday, a shortwave, what we call it, starts to move towards Arkansas. Here is the Arkansas area, and as this moves into towards Arkansas, you'll see there'll be a low pressure system that starts to develop around the northern Arkansas area, and that'll bring us a chance of some severe weather, a small marginal risk there for the chance of severe weather. Now, one of the reasons why we're watching this closely, there could be a cap in place. What is that cap? That cap is basically, the best way I know how to put it to explain it in layman terms is, you shake up a bottle, and a Coke bottle that has a lid on it, you keep the lid on it, all that pressure is built up, but with that cap on it, nothing happens. So really, we have a strong cap over place on Wednesday, and that's going to hold a lot of storms at bay for the most part. We're not going to have a whole bunch of storms develop, but a few storms could potentially develop on Wednesday, and that could allow for an isolated damaging wind threat, or an isolated large hail threat. And maybe if they can get surface based, maybe a few isolated damaging wind risk, and maybe a tornado risk across East Texas. But for the most part, mainly an isolated hail risk if storms develop. Now, for really bigger severe weather events, you want a little cap in place, but not a strong cap if you're a fan of severe weather. But if you're not, that cap's your friend. That stronger cap's your friend. That keeps basically the storms at bay. That keeps that Coke bottle shaken up, but what happens right when you release that cap? That Coke shoots up out of the Coke bottle. So just a basic way to explain that. But let's talk a little more about what we're talking about here. So real quickly, we're going to take this to the regional wide look, but we're also going to show the same thing that we just looked at on the GFS model. And this is once again the 500 millibar level heights. You see this low pressure system as we go into Tuesday here and into the late Wednesday. This is around that 8 p.m. time frame for Wednesday. You can see the flows more over the southern the Texas and Louisiana area, but we're still going to have to watch for a few storms that could potentially try to develop and bring us that isolated large hail threat as that low pressure system develops over northern Arkansas, and then that system moves out and then we start to put the focus on to Friday later on in the week. So real quickly, let's take another look at the North American model. This was the 18Z, so this was a little closer to that lunch time frame, lunch early afternoon time frame. And as we go further towards that Wednesday time frame, it shows something similar. Pretty much shows that low pressure system moving over the Arkansas area, that flow just a little south of us, but it still gives us some southwesterly flow there briefly there on Thursday, or on the day on Thursday afternoon and into the evening, and that will allow for some good upper mid-level winds there. But the stronger systems on Friday, that'll help allow to pull some moisture up into the Arkansas area. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. So first, let's take a look at those dew points and show you here what we're looking at for moisture. And you can see as we go into Wednesday, you'll see an increase in moisture, but really it tries to pick up there late on the afternoon and evening time frame there on Thursday. And as you can see, it's not super moist, but there's still dew points in the 50s and potentially in the lower 60s according to the North American model as we go throughout that afternoon and into the evening time frame. Really, the main focus is going to be that evening on Wednesday. And then once again, we'll talk more about the CAPE here in just a minute, or your storm fuel. Let's take a look on the GFS at the same thing with the dew points here. What you're going to notice is it shows pretty much something similar. That flow allows for dew points and that moisture to return there on Wednesday, and it shows dew points in the 50s and 60s there for your day on for your evening Thursday and into the early overnight hours on Thursday, and that'll allow for some for some moisture there as well. But then taking a look at the CAPE and instability levels here in just a minute, but first, let's just show you this on all of the models. Once again, this is going to be a little more technical, but I want to show you the details behind it and try to explain it the best we can and not just show you the severe weather outlook as well. But here we go on the European model. This shows you pretty much that same similar scenario. That moisture starts to return on Wednesday, and that'll allow for some moisture returns there into the 50 dew points into the 50s. This shows the 60s being a little further south, maybe some scattered instances in northern Louisiana and the far southwest Arkansas area. But that does finally get there late Thursday evening. But this could help with the system on Friday with that moisture return being there. But we're going to talk more about that here in just a moment. So let's show you the instability with this. As always, you can have that moisture, you can have that wind energy that you need, but you got to have that storm fuel. We seen what happened last week when we had all the other ingredients in place, the shear in place, all of this, but we didn't have the storm fuel. We seen that storm fuel or that instability stayed just a further south of Arkansas, and that allowed storms to kind of just be mainly windy, gusty winds and keep that tornado threat and hail threat at bay. But as we go forward into Wednesday, you'll notice that we'll see some instability here. Here's mixed level or layer CAPE, and this showing that there could be some instability there as we go into the evening time frame and overnight time frame, around 1,000 to 1,500 joules of instability there as we go into the overnight time frames there on Wednesday. Once again, one thing to remember, though, that CAP's going to be in place. So Wednesday's not going to be a big severe weather day. Once again, at this time, it's not. Maybe a large hail threat as we go throughout the day on Wednesday. Now, once again, we're going to show you here in just a moment what the pattern looks like for Saturday or for Friday. That day is going to be a little more interesting compared to what Wednesday is. If we take a look on the GFS model for surface CAPE, it shows that there's going to be some there briefly around that 1,000 to 1,500 joules of energy there for your day on Wednesday. North American model shows pretty much similar scenarios, not as much as what the global models or the GFS and European models show. That's a nickname that we use for those models, the GFS and European model, global models. These are the NAMs when you start to get to more high resolution models there, but they're still showing some instability available. So there will be, so the thing to take away from this, we'll have some storm fuel there, but that cap, not the cape, but the cap that's going to be in place is going to really help keep those storms more elevated and lead to more of a large, isolated, large hail threat. If they can get surface based, which the greater chance for that would probably be over in East Texas, where the where the jet streak and jet stream's a little greater down there across East Texas and Louisiana, and that cap could potentially give way to maybe an isolated tornado threat down there in East Texas, and an isolated damaging wind threat if those storms can get more surface based and not elevated. But once again, main focus is we're gonna keep an eye on Wednesday, but the main focus is really gonna be on Saturday. And real quickly, I do want to show you more of the regional wide outlook for your day on Wednesday. This is the overall severe weather outlook. So as you can see, there's just a marginal risk that goes in effect for pretty much in this dark green colored area for over from Fort Worth to include Dallas, McKinney, Texas, down to Waco, College Station, just north of the Woodlands over to include Shreveport, Monroe, Louisiana, northern Louisiana, pretty decent amount of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Hot Springs, Texarkana, Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, up to Fort Smith and southeast Texas, or southeast Oklahoma, not Texas there. But if we take a look and transition this to the day on Friday, you'll notice right now when you get to 4 or 5 days out, you don't have the marginal risk. You start to get a little closer to that on day 3, and you get more of those risks. The 1 through 5 scale. Right now, you have the slight to enhanced, or the 1, 2, or the slight and enhanced risk areas. These yellow and orange colored areas on your day 4 through 8. And as you can see, there's a wide range of a slight risk, this yellow colored area, all the way up into Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, portions of Tennessee, over to Mississippi, Louisiana, over to East Texas, and into all of Arkansas, and into portions of eastern Oklahoma and Missouri. Inside that, though, for the southeastern portion of Missouri, southwestern corner of Illinois, over to western tip of Kentucky and Tennessee, northwestern Mississippi, and most of the Arkansas area here, you have that 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, your enhanced risk zone here. So real quickly, let's take a look at that a little more closely for southwest Arkansas. At this time, you have that slight risk in effect for the Mena, DeQueen, Derricks, Nashville, Hope, Texarkana, Magnolia, El Dorado, Camden, over to Prescott areas. And then outside of that, or inside of that, you have the enhanced risk, this orange color area, your medium end severe weather threat for the Hot Springs, Malvern, Sheridan, Fordyce, Arkadelphia areas at this time. Now, once again, we're going to go ahead and talk about that by looking at the national view of this and show you what's in store for this. You're going to notice a big difference from when we talk about Wednesday, and as we go from Wednesday and into the day on Friday, and we're going to have to use the GFS and European models because it is further out, so we have 2 models to look off of instead of 3. As we get closer, we'll start to get more of an idea, but look at this system as we go into the day on Friday. You can see a lot stronger of a system. This low pressure system is going to be over the Nebraska, Kansas area, but look at this flow on this jet streak here where your stronger winds are at in the jet stream. You can see you're talking a pretty strong jet stream there over place, and you're talking around 100 to 20 knots potentially over the Oklahoma area. But what this will lead to is a big increase in, just in general, this low pressure system that we have coming in on Friday. I want to show you this as well. This low pressure system is strong, and it's not going to be just your regular low pressure system. This is a lot like the pressure system that we had come in, the low pressure system that we had come in last week in strength wise, and it is. Let's take a look at it at the surface here. You'll see what we're talking about here. you're probably not going to be able to notice it on that, but it is a strong low pressure system, and we are going to be watching it closely. And real quickly, let's show you this on the European model as well. Give me 1 second. But Friday is going to be the day that we're watching closely. The Severe Weather Prediction, or the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, is monitoring Friday closely. We're going to have to keep a close eye on it because that definitely is a day to raise an eyebrow for severe weather. If you look at the European model now, this shows that same scenario. It shows a strong low pressure system over the Kansas area. Kansas just a little further south, but has that strong flow over southwestern Arkansas and southeastern Oklahoma, but has some really strong flow there in your 500 millibar level height area. And now if we take a look at the dew points, once again, you got to have that moisture. You got to have that storm fuel and shear, and we're probably going to have plenty of shear in place with this system. Now, once again, as we get closer, we'll start to get more ideas and we'll start to get more data in and get a better idea and understanding of what we're meaning. But look, as we go into Friday, this is around the morning time, and you can see we're already dealing with some strong instability, and you can see dew points in the 60s down here in the southeastern Texas area, and those are only going to continue to get pushed up into southwest Arkansas. If we take a look at this on the European model, you're showing by that afternoon time frame, you're showing dew points in the mid-60s across southwest Arkansas, and that's going to continue throughout the day into the early evening hours. Right now, the timing on Saturday looks to be early afternoon and evening time frame there on this. Now, once again, things can change. We're going to, as we get closer, we'll start to get a better understanding on this, but that instability will be in place on your day on Friday. Not necessarily the instability, but the moisture will be there. We're about to take a look at the instability here in just a moment. Give me 1 second, and let me pull up the mixed level layer CAPE. But I do want to show you the same thing on the GFS. The GFS is an outlier in the models in a way. Here recently, it hasn't had as strong of moisture on Friday. Has more of a narrow corridor of moisture, reaching the 60s, 60 values or mid 60s into the lower to mid 60s there. But it is one of the outliers that we're going to keep a close eye on. But as always, we're going to continue to keep you updated with the newest there. So, taking a look at the European model, let's take a look at that mixed layer CAPE. Once again, going past Wednesday and into Friday, you can see there's going to be a decent amount of instability available according to the European model. This shows by that afternoon time frame, you're looking at 1,500 to maybe even 2,000 joules of CAPE or instability. So this system may not be lacking that instability like the previous system that we had last week was lacking. That system last week was had some very, very strong shear with it, and it didn't have the instability. This time around, we have it looks like we're going to have that instability that we need, and as always, we're going to continue to keep close eye on it. It would not surprise me as we get closer if we continue to see this information that we're going to continue to keep a close eye on it, but all modes of severe weather look like a good possibility for your day on Saturday at this time. Let's take a look at the shear levels as well, and you'll notice there's going to be plenty amount of shear available there on your day on your afternoon and evening on Friday. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on those time frames. Now, real quickly, let's show you what the precipitation or what the future radar could potentially look like. Once again, remember, things are going to change between now and then, and you're going to have a lot more information come in. So just remember, take this as a grain of salt. Right now, it's still early, so we don't have any really high resolution data for looking at like the precipitation or the the timing and of the storms and showers. But this is for your Wednesday time frame. You can see maybe a few little scattered thunderstorms, nothing really widespread, but these could carry that large hail potential into the late evening and overnight hours or early overnight hours. But as we go into the day on Friday, you can see Friday afternoon we start to see storms potentially develop into the evening time frame, that prime time for severe weather in Arkansas, and it quickly tries to develop into a QLCS, and that once again we'll have to monitor for that tornado threat with that as well. So real quickly, we'll have to monitor for all modes of severe weather being a possibility, but we're going to keep a close eye on that tornado threat as always. Taking a look at the North American or NAM model on this same thing for Wednesday. You'll notice as we go into Wednesday, it's not as it doesn't have as many, or doesn't, it still shows the potential for a few showers and storms there on Wednesday, but it may be a little stronger on that cap there at this current time. So once again, really right now the main story is stay weather aware. As we get closer, we're gonna continue to post more updates. We're gonna continue to have updates over on the Facebook page, and as always, we'll continue to keep you updated with the newest. I do want to say big thanks as always to Palmer's Roofing, J&S Auto Supply, Southern Dumpster Rentals, Landmark Insurance Agency, Patterson's Credit Union, Tan Energy and Nutrition, and Fort Smith Therapy for all they do to help us get this information to you guys. Make sure to check them out over on Facebook, and make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube, and TikTok. We post a lot over on Facebook. That's our main platform that we post on. Just remember, we have multiple days that we're going to be watching for severe weather, but we're really going to keep a close eye on Friday. Remember, we've been mentioning that back about a week, or actually last Friday we mentioned it, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on it. Once again, no reason to panic. It's nothing Arkansas is not used to. It's severe weather season in Arkansas. Remember, it's always good to stay weather aware, have multiple ways to receive warnings, and as always, just be prepared. Know what to do in case of warnings and all of that stuff. It's that time of year. It's Arkansas. It's nothing we're not used to here in Arkansas. So as always, stay weather aware, and we'll continue with these video vlogs. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning with another look at what's in store for the rest of this week and the daily forecast. As always, have a good rest of your Monday, and see you back here tomorrow morning. And thank you guys very much for trusting us right here with your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather.